It worked.
Yay!
Small
Yeah,
miracles. Jerry, how are you?
I'm good.
It's so nice
I'm
to
doing
see you.
great. It's good to see you too. It's been so long.
I think exactly a year, isn't it?
It has actually. It's
December
been a year.
2019. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
time
And it feels like it's
flies.
been 10 years that have passed and not one.
Yeah, this has been one long year.
Every day is like a month, every month is like a
I
year.
know.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you're looking so lovely. You're looking so well.
Thank you. You too.
It's really good to see you.
Asante. Good to see you too.
So, I'm already recording because it's just nice to get some of the internal, initial kind of just chatter. But before we
Yeah.
officially start,
Yeah.
thanks so much for being on my show. I know we talked about it such a long time ago, and then
Yeah.
things happened, and it just kept getting delayed. And of course, now I've come to you probably at your busiest season, so I'm really grateful for your time.
Thank you.
A few things. Any questions that you think, okay, no, I don't really want to do that. That doesn't fit, or that you want me to take out? And
Are you
we
going to
definitely
ask
won't get to all of
all
them.
of these
There's no way. There's
questions?
no way. But I could have like a 5-part series with you. That's what I was thinking. But
Oh.
if we go long, I'll break it into 2. But yeah, there's no way that we'll do everything in the first
Yeah.
one. But
Yeah, this is a lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot. But there's so much to work with. I mean, I had questions already before I watched the film, and then I
Yeah.
watched the film, and it just, as you can see, it expanded. It just offered me so much more to ask you about. So, but if there's anything that felt too personal, you can let me know, and I can just scrub that from now.
Oh gosh, my whole life, that film was just all too personal.
It was.
So, in all fairness, some questions might be hard to answer, but I think because my life is out there, it's questions that people wonder about and are asking themselves. So, I feel like just shoot.
Okay.
If I can't answer, I'll say that's very difficult, and I still don't have a response, or I'm still dealing with that.
Fair.
And we'll take it as we go along.
Great. Yeah. You've got headphones on, which is great. I can hear you very well. And you said my sound is also okay on your end?
Yeah, it is. It is
okay,
good.
Super. So in case it drops off, you know how internet is, that we can just rejoin on that same Zoom link.
Okay.
And the same thing with the time. I'm a bit of a cheapskate, so I'm like, if the time runs out, we also just rejoin on that, and we'll fix it in post-production. Well, we can always edit it together so it sounds like one conversation in case we get cut off. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna start. Salam and hello. Welcome to Uproot. I'm so glad that you tuned in today. My name is Bekele-Piper, and I am the host and the creator of this little show. And if you've been listening throughout this year, you've heard us talk about joy, you've heard us talk about justice and resilience. And I have a feeling that today's conversation will hit all 3 notes. It's really my pleasure to have on the show today my friend, an activist and artist, Njeri Mwangi. Njeri is the co-founder of Power 254, Nairobi's first unique social enterprise that uses art for social change and what is now widely known as artivism. That's a term I didn't know, but now I do. And if you haven't been to Power 254, you should go. It's an incredible creative space. Njeri has a vast experience in event planning and management. She's the organizer of the only street festival in the region called Power Festival, which has been in Nairobi since 2015. She's also the organizer of the annual Kenya Photography Awards and the World Press Photo Exhibition in Nairobi as well. Njeri is not just an artist, though. She is very much an activist and a human rights defender. She has been working in human rights and against corruption and impunity in Kenya for years. She's passionate about family, about women, about youth empowerment. And through Power 254, she's been at this work since 2009 with youth across the country. She's also a wife, a mother, a daughter, a proud daughter of Kenya, I should also add, and the recent co-star of the film Softie, together with her husband, Boniface Mwangi. The film premiered in Kenya just recently and also at the Sundance Film Festival, and is the winner of the Best Documentary at the Durban International Film Festival in South Africa. It is a joy to welcome Njeri to Uproot. Karibu sana.
Wow, asante sana. I'm like, oh, I'd like to meet this person. It sounds like, oh my
It's
gosh, is that
you.
me?
That's you.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for having me.
no, it is such a delight to have you. And we have met a year ago. I really didn't know you at all. I had been to Power 254. It actually recorded Uproot at 254. Did I tell you that?
Oh, no, you
Yes,
didn't.
one of my
Oh,
episodes
wow.
about the African American experience in Africa was recorded at Power.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yes. So I love that space. And I remember walking in and thinking it felt like home in so many ways between the art, the passion for the continent. It's such a Pan-African space. Anyway, I just loved being there. So it's just a delight to have you here because we met through the Datasphere Network last year and
Yeah,
have
yeah.
stayed in touch. So Jerry, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and the work that you've been doing here in Kenya for the last many years.
So, wow, your introduction kind of wrapped it up together. But so my name is Njeri Mwangi, and I have been working with Power 254, which we established with my husband. Power is an art space that brings together creatives and artists to do work for social change. So everything that is created towards gearing, empowering and changing people's mindsets and just getting them to stand up for what is right and fight for what is right and demand for accountability. And we've been working from there since 2011 up until now. Well, unfortunately, we folded that place you'd been to, Lily,
Yes, I
and we're
heard.
in a different place now. We're trying to develop it to be just as robust and as dynamic as the other place was. And of course, that's another uphill task, but we'll get there. The power is in our hearts. It's not just a physical space, it's a community. And it sounds very much like you're part of that community. I'm also a mother of 3 children, an activist. We have been together with my husband working towards trying to get a lot of Kenyans to see that, to give power to the people, because governments should be run by the people and not just individuals, because if we do so, then we are able to get what the people need and deliver services to these people because they say what they need, and these services are delivered to the people, by the people, through the government. And it seems like it's the government is a set of people. The way it operates in this region, the government is a set of cronies and buddies who use public money to do what they please and whatever they want to do. And this is something that we're trying to change and get not just Kenyans, but citizens of the world really to rise up and demand for this. And if whatever we do here in Kenya helps bring that change in any other part of the world, then, go all out and get what the people deserve. I'm also a road safety ambassador. We rode with the Throttle Queens last year from Nairobi through Uganda into Kigali.
You're
Just trying
kidding.
to, oh yeah, we
You
did. It
rode a
was crazy.
motorcycle.
We rode a motorcycle. Well, we
Awesome.
all rode motorcycles and we were 6 of us, and it was,
Wow.
I think one of the craziest things I've ever done. One of the craziest things. It was quite exciting because talking to people about the importance of the roads that we have in this part of the world, especially, again, because of, how money is spent in our countries. The roads are not up to par the way they should be. So we rode to just tell people that we need to share these roads, whatever roads we have, however bad they are, that the way we present ourselves on the road needs to change because there's a lot of deaths on our roads and most of these are avoidable. So it was a crazy trip. It was amazing. And we talked to a lot of people, and hopefully there's some changes. Even as we see in Kenya, the roads that are being built, there's some pedestrian walks, there's some cyclist paths, and something is happening. Something is happening.
Incredible. That is just, I don't know how you had time to do that. You're a mother of 4, you're a mother of 3. Whoa, maybe I'm
Yeah,
prophesying
3.
here.
Oh,
Three,
no,
three,
no, no,
but
no, no, no. Oh gosh.
no, you don't want that?
I'm happy with my 3.
Well, you
I'm a
said it
mother
in the
of
film.
many.
You're a mother
I'm
of
a
many.
mother of many,
Yes.
but I have 3 biological children.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know how you do it between that and then taking this incredible trip to raise awareness about yet another issue. Absolutely amazing. So, Jerry, this series that I'm in has a theme of all I want for Christmas. And as I've thought about this year and how hard it has been, the things on my Christmas list are not things, in fact, So last week I talked with my friend, Julie Githiri Goko, about what I want is peace of mind. And we talked about mental health. Another thing that's something I want is human rights. I'm also an activist, and I've been thinking about, how do we keep human rights at the forefront of what we think about, what we do, even in this context of a pandemic. So tell me, what does human rights mean to you, Jerry? And what have you seen in the last year that keeps, makes you kind of motivated to keep human rights at the forefront of our policies and our conversations?
I think now more than ever, I have seen this year a lot of violations of human rights, because like earlier in the year, for me, when the Korogosho slums, when, they were disrupted and the place they were told that it's public property, and they were chased out of their homes in the middle of the night in the rain with nowhere to go. I was like, that's outright violation. It may be government property, but it was not the time to do that, to evict people from their homes in that kind of state. And for me, that was a violation that, just passed. Yeah. And Kenyans swung into action and did what they could to help those people with food, with clothes, some of them even a place to stay. And there's been more than one of that. But it's also just realizing that there's a lot of things that are going on that should not, that our government has not stepped up to protect people. If anything, there's been with the curfews, there's been a lot of police harassment. There's been a lot of executions. There's been a lot of brutal force. These things are just going on, and the government is not saying or doing anything about those. And all these violations keep happening, and yet these Kenyans feel like we're just being squashed in and pushed in. And I don't know what it'll take to give to that. Yeah. And then recently I did a story with BBC, again, violation of children. Yeah. Babies being stolen, again, the watch of the government, because the government has all the resources and machinery to see an end to these things, to ensure that these things are not happening. But like I said in the beginning, that government has become a clique of people that want to do what serves them and not the people. So again, I have just seen a lot of violations. I think this year, more than ever, maybe I've also become even more aware, because you see the struggle of people around you, you hear it, even with people that you work with, people that live near you, you see that struggle and you see where the violations are coming from. But also gets me to ask what we need to do.
Absolutely. I think, and we're going to come to that, what we need to do. That will be the highlight of our conversation, I think. You make an interesting point that perhaps because of the nature of the pandemic and the new curfews, the new rules, and hopefully many of us are more aware of human rights violations and the things happening in our backyard, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, maybe more than we were before. So tell me, and Jerry, there is this sense of sometimes helplessness. You see something and you think, how can I help? Tell me a little bit about, how you got started in human rights work, and what are the ways that average people can get involved to respond to some of these human rights situations that you've alluded to. So 2 parts, so how you started and then what we can do. Yeah.
So let me start with how we started. We started with Power 254. Actually, it was Mtani. It was a photo exhibition that we took across the country. And what it was about the post-election violence. The purpose of that exhibition was to take it around the country to show people what we had done to each other in the name of, ethnic politics. But then when people saw these images of themselves and of their communities, to vow to never resort to this kind of discussion, or conversation, because we killed each other, we fought each other, we maimed each other, people lost lives, people lost property, people were raped, yeah? And when people saw these images, we had a tent where people took a vow and pledged to never turn to that kind of resort. And then we had another tent where people just came and we provided counseling for people who had been running sins and had never been able to look back and had never had a chance to cry about their loss, whatever nature their loss was. And so we took that around the country, and then we thought, if photos have the power to do what that exhibition did, what if we brought in all these arts and see what we could do with that? So bring in the music, bring in the graffiti, bring in theater. And we did that, and we did so much work in the beginning of during our formation at that time. And there was such great impact. There was very positive vibes, and people were connecting, and people were talking about what's happening, and they were becoming conscious, and they were becoming aware, and they were talking more about what, it created a platform, a form of expression that people could talk about what they're dealing with, and in a very artistic way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was very empowering. So that's what we started with, and that's what we decided that we're going to help empower the public through the arts, because people consume arts in very different ways. We dance to it. We go and we sit with our families and watch a movie, and then you learn something even with your kids. And
so let me ask you, did you know that's what you were doing? Did you know that you're now a human rights activist through that work? Because it almost sounds like you thought we need to share a story. And as a result of that story, here you are, organizing people and communities.
I don't know if I thought of myself as that at the time. I think I have come to accept that more now than I did before. Also because my husband was in the limelight, and I was doing a very back role, including taking care of the family and taking care of him when he was struggling with, being on the front line. So I did not really consider myself as such. And I guess also people never see where there's an invisible force that is who we are. Yeah.
Right.
And so because we're an invisible force, we're not termed and we're not seen the way the frontline people are seen. I mean, understandably so.
But I think that in some ways answers my second question about how do average people get involved, because not everybody needs to be at the front. There's a part to play for all of us. And so whether it's raising children who are just and who are oriented towards taking care of other kids at school and asking, stopping bullying, or whether it's, supporting through finances or time, other people who have these, maybe, different kind of roles. I think all of those roles matter, all of them together create a movement.
I think it's the word activist has been coined to mean something, I don't know, forceful and something to avoid.
Something loud.
And bang and boisterous and bold. And yet it is bold. It takes courage to do stuff. I watched a film yesterday and it was about anger management, but really the channel, it's getting angry about a violation, but not stopping at anger. It's the courage to do something about it so that it stops making you angry. If the dog is barking outside your house because it hasn't eaten, you can ignore it only for so long. And then you get really angry, you get really pissed off because this dog is angry. And then you decide, let me go find food and give it. And then when you give this dog food, it keeps quiet. And you're like, that's what I needed to do. So even for us, it's as citizens or just as people, when you wonder what you can do, just look around you. You don't have to go out there and be out in the streets. It would be nice for us to all be in the streets for some of these things, of course. But really, it's about being an active citizen and making a difference where you are, as a teacher, as a doctor, as a parent, as a daughter, wherever you are, at your place of work, you see what is not right and speak up and do something about it. Make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're so right. It's not ignoring things. It's being present wherever you are. The other day I was, there was an incident in my neighborhood and there was a dispute, and, in the end, there were some ethnic slurs used. And I'm not a Kenyan, I'm Ethiopian, but Kenya has been home for 10 years. And, it was an awkward moment. I was like, do I have a right to say anything here? And I was like, absolutely I do. This is my community. These are my neighbors. This is not okay with me. And so you're right. It's doing something wherever you are. If we all did that, we would not need as much noise and the bangs by other people if everybody took care of that 3 or 4 or 5 people just right where they are. So in doing this work, I imagine that there are times where you have to take a breath, take a moment to recover, take care of yourselves. Tell me, how do you keep going? What gives you the motivation to go? I mean, we're going to talk in a moment about the film, which really shows the cost that you've paid to be a human rights activist. But what keeps you going, and Jerry? Who inspires you? Who are your heroes?
Well, let me first talk about that's a 2-part question. Who are my heroes and what keeps me going?
They're usually 7-part questions, so you have to be patient with me. It's like 7, 9-part questions. That's my style.
Oh, wow. So let me keep this 2-part. So who inspires my heroes? first of all, my husband is my hero because he has taught me to just not stay silent about something that is going wrong. Yeah. He has a way of being loud about stuff, but he's taught me really to not just stand there and just because it's not me doing it, because I'm being complacent by not saying something, and then speak up. So he's one of my greatest heroes. But another one of my heroes is what's her name? Wangari Maathai. Wangari fought for the places that I love to go and run, the places that I go with my friends and family to have a picnic or to just, enjoy the outdoors. And if she had not fought for those spaces, then we would not have the Uhuru Parks, and I really appreciate that she struggled for all that. Then someone else I really appreciate is Giuliani. His music is very phenomenal. His music gets you thinking about, what is happening in society. Why is it happening? What can I do? He breaks it down to what I can do as what you were asking, just like an average citizen. Yeah. So those are some of my three top most heroes in that sense.
You'll have to send me some of his music. I don't think I know his music.
Oh my God. I
know. I've been missing out.
Maybe I'll even bring him to you.
Would you do that? That would be awesome.
Oh, yes, I would.
That would be fantastic. You're a good friend.
Then what else did you ask me? What do I do?
What keeps you going? Yeah. How do you take care of yourself? How do you keep going?
I love riding. I'm a biker.
Oh my gosh.
My helmet.
If people are not watching the YouTube version, if you're just listening, you need to go to YouTube and see Jerry's helmet. What is the purple thing on top? Is that a decoration or is that a safety feature?
It's just when I'm on the road,
so
they know it's
my gosh, it's extensions. That is purple extensions on the helmet.
It can be very long, so it's black, but I've tied it around.
And you've dyed it purple. That is excellent.
It can be dyed. It can be dyed.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
So I love to ride. I have met so many bikers, and when we are together, we are just human beings. It's not where do you work? It's not what do you do? It's not what title you are. We're just human beings, and we just love riding, So it's that, but I also have a network of friends that keep me they check on me, that I check on. And I find that when I need something, I give what I need. Yeah. So if I need to go out on a drive, I will pick a friend who I think needs to go for a drive and take them for a drive, because when I give, I feel like my cup is refilled. I refill myself by giving. Absolutely. So spending time with my kids as well, just hearing the laughter, there's a purity. And I can't explain it. There's a purity about being with children. They're so unafraid. Yeah. Absolutely. And everything is possible. And I like being with kids in that sense, because everything is perfect and it's pure and it's whole and it's it's all that. And that just fills me up. I'm like, I go there to feel that when I feel like this world is so broken and falling apart, and oh my gosh. So when I do that, I spend time with kids, but then also seeing young people standing up for themselves, hearing them and seeing them. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Something is happening. We don't have to stay in the front line, or even if we do, we are not alone in that front line. And it's encouraging and it keeps me going, because then if we step away, if we move back, then we leave these people who are coming up on their own with so much to learn. Absolutely. I'm like, I want to be there when they crash. I want to be there when they think it's not worth it. It is worth it because they joined the movement. It is worth it because they stood up. That's why I am still here.
Yeah, I love that, because it sounds like in some ways your work itself keeps you going, just and making sure that work includes young people. It makes space for people who are who are up and coming. And you mentioned your kids, so maybe this is a good time to maybe shift towards the film Softy, which is the story of the Mwangi family. I mean, it is extraordinary. Congratulations. I watched it last night. I watched it, I cried. I feel like I'm about to cry now. So many of our heroes have gone before us. Yeah. So when you have heroes that are in your community who have given so much, it really moves you. So I was so moved by your film.
Thank you.
So thank you for your sacrifice and the commitment you've had to justice and to Kenya.
Thank you, Lily.
Whew, let me get myself together. So
Take a deep breath.
yeah, I'm telling you, I should have waited a couple days to interview you because it's too fresh.
Yeah, it's very raw.
It
It is
is.
very.
It's very honest. It's a very
Yeah.
honest film. And your director, Sam Soko, just a huge kudos to him. I sent him a message saying he treated you both with such tenderness that you couldn't help but feel so invested in your story, your work, and I was left feeling like I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. Tell me, why was it important to make this film? Why did you agree? This film starts back in 2007, is it, in January, or 2005?
Well,
When
it
was the first
starts.
filming?
Oh wow! It's a compilation of many things, but it was done over 7 years.
Over 7 years.
Yeah,
So tell me,
yeah.
why was it important to do this film? Why did you agree?
Why I agreed is because, like I said, we're invisible. Yet people see these frontline activists and think that they have it all together. That they, especially my husband, he's been told so many things, that he's funded by the West and that he wants to topple the government, and they say all these kinds of things about him. But what Kenyans seem to not realize is that the things that we fight for, if there were better hospitals, if our schools were equipped, if our roads were better, who would they serve? It is we, the people, that these things would serve. And so when people say that we are puppets of the West and that we're given money to disrupt, well, like, why would our good schools a disruption? Our good hospitals a disruption? Our good roads a disruption? And we want it to be in their face. So when Soko said that he wants to focus on the family, in as much as I was extremely hesitant in the beginning, for me, I said, let people see what we, the wives and the mothers and the children of these people that you see in the front, have to deal with, how we live, because this is who he's fighting for. His family is who he's fighting for, but this fight is not in the house. It has to be out there, because it's the future of our children that we are fighting for. It is our own future that we are fighting for when we are older. Where are we going to live? How are we going to live? And if we're living better as a couple, if our children are living better because of what we fought for, we're not living in isolation.
Yeah.
We're living in this country. And so if we win to get the things that we are fighting for ourselves, then this country stands to gain, because we don't gain it for ourselves. That road is not just our car that will pass through. That school is not just our children. That hospital, when we need it, it's not just us who will go to it. It's all of us. And so we want people to feel that it's very personal. It is very personal. For us, I cannot separate the politics and the family, because it is the family that pushes you to go to that front line to fight for those things, because then you feel like you've given your family what you've always wanted.
Absolutely. Human rights is personal. It's human rights. It's people rights. It's mother rights, son rights, father rights, children rights.
Exactly.
I mean, there's none of us are immune, and all of us actually benefit from that, whether you realize it or not. So let's talk about the family part. There is a very touching moment in the film where you are praying together as a family. And I'm not sure which one of your children it was, because their faces are turned away from us, that says, we pray that daddy gets...
Was my last born.
Was your last born?
Yeah.
Said, we pray that daddy gets a better job. What do you do with that over the years when they've had to pay a price? And the film really shows that price. You were in exile in the United States for, is it 8 months, 9 months?
For 8 months, yeah.
8 months during Boniface's campaign when he was vying in 2017. Your home, you've been under threat, and you were in exile because you were under threat, because there were death threats against him directly, against him and against you and the kids, which is just unthinkable. And yet it was your reality. How did you balance your care for your children in the midst of a campaign that is, like you just said, fighting for all children, for all of Kenya, and yet you have your 3 that God has given you? How do you manage that?
Now it's my turn to drink some water.
That's not a light question, is it?
So that was I think has been by far the greatest challenge I have ever had to live with, because leaving my husband in the middle of campaign and then not telling my children why we were leaving. It was not supposed to be that long. It was supposed to be like 2, maybe 3 months at most. And then we went towards Christmas. So I told them we're going to have a white Christmas. But they did not see the rush that we left in, because it all happened so fast. By the time we got our visas, got a plane and left, it all happened so fast. But I shielded them from all that.
Yeah.
And when we got there, just trying to get them settled in, we stayed with some friends, and it was, they really did not notice anything. Maybe when they grow up, they'll tell me, we knew what was happening.
Right.
But I really tried to protect them, not to feel the fear, and not to feel that we had been pulled out of our normal lives for God knows how long. And even by the time I was deciding that let me take them to school, just so that they have a sense of normal life, I was trying to say, oh, now we're here, let's go to school and see what it's like learning in school before we go back home. It's a different experience a different culture, let's just go and try it out. And they were excited. And I think I lost myself in that time, because I could not be with my husband during this campaign period, which we were doing for the very first time. And then I was really trying to protect my children. I was just checking on them like this, like, are you okay? Are you fine?
Right. Constantly taking the temperature on, like it's like
yes,
taking a temperature
like this,
of their spirit.
Come here. Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
And I had so many sleepless nights. So I'm not an alcoholic. So I binge watched TV. I watched all kinds of series.
What did you watch?
I could not sleep. I watched Grey's Anatomy. I watched Scandal. I watched Hawaii Five-O.
Oh my goodness.
And there are like 22 series.
Right. I think
so. By the time you're going into an episode, I watched a lot of them. And I really struggled speaking with my husband, really struggled to connect, because he was also running very long days. And by the time we could speak, he was so tired. There are times I just held the phone and he'd fall asleep. And just to hear him breathe, I'm like, okay, at least he's alive. We're not talking, but he's breathing. He's on the other end. And it was really hard. And he also was not able to talk to the children. And sometimes I'll tell him, please, 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 just call the children and say hi. And when you do, don't be distracted, like just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And even that was not easy. Yeah, even that was hard. And I didn't know until I saw the film how bad it was for our firstborn. Yeah.
Really, really. What surprised you? What did you see in that film that was a surprise to you?
Father's Day. And then he didn't know what to say. And he wrote me a card instead.
Yeah.
And Soko asks him, why did you write, Mom, it's Father's Day? Then he said, I don't know. He shrugged it off.
Yeah.
And I could see him really struggle so much. And he was angry at his dad. Maybe he knew what was happening.
Yeah. But
then he also did not want to tell me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. He's protecting you as well. It's incredible how kids, you've raised an incredible son who could at least intuitively know, I need to take care of Mom. And I
because he didn't ask.
Yeah.
And he never mentioned it, He never mentioned it. So until I saw it, and I thought, oh my God, have I really taken care of these children? Are they okay? Yeah. Yet I had given my life to make sure that they have the best, because this is what his dad wants for them. This is what we want for them, to have the best life.
Yeah, of course.
And now I'm like, are we failing in this? Are we not giving our children the best that we can? And for him, running for office was an attempt to really achieve that thing. We don't want to go and live somewhere to be citizens of the world out there, because our home is not, we can't live there.
Yeah.
It does not support us.
I was just thinking how, what you said it's so touching, because I think we're in the holiday season and parents are buying gifts and buying toys. And here you and Boniface in this film are fighting for human rights. That's what you want to give your kids. And so the price it's going to cost you is running for office. It's going to cost you death threats. It's going to cost you exile. It's going to cost you a Father's Day without your father being there with you. It's an extraordinary price to pay. And as you reflect on it, as you saw some of those images in the film that tell your story, any regrets? Anything that you think, I mean, as parents, we're so hard on ourselves, you know, we're always second guessing our decisions, but I don't know, anything you would do differently?
I don't know. It's the regrets I have are not of what we have done
Yeah.
for the family. It's that this country has made us, we've lost so much.
Yeah.
My children have lost their growing up years with their father. I have lost my husband.
Yeah.
You know, times that we could have spent together. Those are times that we have given to this country, sometimes begrudgingly, you know. We've been
Yeah.
called off from bed to go to the police station because there's violation. We've cut some holidays short. We have completely just removed some holidays because we couldn't go. We had planned to go, but we can't go because there's something that's happening.
Yeah.
So for me, when I think about the cost, it's very personal and it's private even,
Yeah.
because then you deny yourself the pleasures because there's something more important. Yeah. And when we say that you have to keep your phone switched off at night, we're like, but what if somebody calls and they need you? Yeah, like really need you.
Yeah. Right.
We're like, we can't save everyone.
Yeah.
But what of those few we can save? So yeah, maybe don't switch off your phone. Then we're like, no, switch off your phone. You know,
Or
so
you'll never
it's there are
sleep.
days. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
days we think like that, and we're like, well, we're not God. We are reminded of our limitations and what we can do, and that we're not the only ones. Also, because there's also other defenders out there that are doing incredible work. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not just the story of Softy is not just the story of Boniface Mwangi and his family. It's the story of activists, not just in Kenya, not just in this region, but across the world. And some have lost their lives, have paid so dearly, they paid with their lives. And then what happens to their families? And it's a call for us as citizens of different countries to really stand with these activists and protect them because they're fighting for their good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about that cost. You know, there's a point where you ask Boniface in the film, you talk about this exact thing, the cost, and he's like, "I'm not afraid to die," and you challenge him and say, "But my well-being is connected to your life." And you ask a very powerful question that really stunned me. You say, "You know, what if your dying, God forbid, is a waste?" You know, I don't even know what to do with that. But I was just thinking about how when my husband and I are in bed, these are not the conversations we have. You know, the conversations we have are about maybe paying the school fees, or it's about, you know, I don't know, my brother and you know, or my job or something like that. And I was thinking these guys, their pillow talk is about the cost of life and what's worth it, what's worth living for, what's worth dying for. Do you guys ever get a respite from this? Are there ever times where, like, what do you talk about for fun? What are the things that you do just to have a laugh?
No, we have a very normal, okay, normal is overrated.
Normal-ish, normal-ish. Let's say
Normal-ish.
normal. Yeah.
Because for me, normal has changed over time, given what we have had to deal with, what we've had to live through. So it's changed with the seasons. And I keep telling myself, this is the new normal. Yeah.
Right.
For all of the world, this is the new normal, having these kinds of meetings on Zoom.
Right.
So yes, we do have normal conversations about, did you go to the store? Did you pick the stuff up?
Did you buy
Clothes still
milk?
need to be laundered.
Does he get in
We
trouble
paid
for buying milk and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, sugar is over. I
Yeah.
told you to pass by the store and get some sugar. You know, we still have those conversations.
Yeah.
And that, you know, the car is broken down, we need to take it back to the mech and stuff.
Right.
So we do, but then we also have these kind of conversations. We've talked about death. I have had to talk to my children about death and try and explain to them the separation and what that means and how painful it is. But you can't explain pain. Yeah, it's pain is something you would feel. And I tell them what that would feel like. And the time that I did, because I was really afraid that I might die, because they might come for me, they might get through to my husband through me by then eliminating me, or that he might die, yeah, in one of those threats. And I'm like, he might die. And I wanted the children to know that if somebody dies, they were so young, that you will not see them again. You will not laugh with them again. You will be left with memories of them. So I wanted them to know that let's make the most of our times together. Let's not yell at each other. Let's have fun when we're together. Let's just, functional understanding, not necessary. That's what I call fun. FUNN.
Say that
Functional,
again.
functional understanding, not necessary.
I
Just
love
scream,
it.
roll on the ground, just be crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Because then when you're alone and the other person is not there, you see they're crazy. You see their eyes rolling. Yeah. You see their eyes so wide open, laughing, their lungs out.
Right.
Yeah. Their hair standing in all directions. And you remember those good moments. So let's stock up on those good moments, because we never know. And we're living in such difficult times. Even the shrinking democratic space, even expressing ourselves it's fought. People are being arrested, and being threatened to shut up.
I'm so sorry that you've had to have those conversations, that you've had to have a real plan. It's like you've had a strategy that's different than what most normal parents have to have. But I'm also very touched by the way that you are preparing your kids. Your kids were with you at my house last year, and they definitely are high energy. They had fun. They had never been to my house, but you wouldn't know. They were like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do. You're going to be there. We're going to play this game. Do you remember? It was so,
yes,
I was like, most kids are a bit shy. Yeah, most kids are shy sometimes, and they come to, no, your kids, they just, and it must be because you've taught them. Enjoy life, enjoy moments, enjoy each other, because they also seem to have a very special kinship. There were some very tender moments between them in the film as well that were just really beautifully captured. Soko really did a beautiful justice by your children, I think, in the way he portrayed both their laughter and their softness. It was really, really incredible. And when we think about when you started filming to now, and also when you started your human rights work and the post-election violence, there was you share that there's some really powerful images and explanation around what that cost Kenya in 2007 to now. What are the changes in Kenya that both create hope for you, make you hopeful for the future? And what are the changes that make you just give you pause, where you just have to think, remind you that your work is still ongoing?
I think we made some great gains. We have an amazing constitution.
Yes.
But I've had more loss of breath, if I may call it, with the last few years. Yeah. I feel like we've lost on those gains, or the things that we had hoped for are such a pipe dream. And I don't know if and when they will be delivered, because the leadership, the crop of leadership that we have continued to get has not been the kind that we hoped for. Yeah. So life has continued to get worse for a lot of people. Running a business has become is almost impossible as well. Then the taxes have just kept growing. Monopoly of power, and people will do anything, and I mean anything, to keep that power that they will finally get when they do get it. But then I lose my breath is because I'm like, these are the people that we elected. I used to hear we deserve that the leaders are a reflection of who we are. And I hated that statement. Oh my God. I was like, oh no. That is not my leader. That is not a reflection in any way of who I am. But then you listen to people and you realize maybe they are a reflection of who we are. Sadly, maybe not a reflection of me and you and a few others, but they're a reflection of who we are, because it's people who are we praising? When these thieves come to public rallies and they say things, we shout and we come out in numbers and we support them. But why? When they come for elections, we're not asking them, what are you going to do? We want whatever they will throw at us, breadcrumbs and, leftovers. And then they go back into office. Yet we still elect these people. The people that have come, when we ran for office, we said, these are the issues we want to change when we get into office. Yeah. My husband said, this is what, and he listed a number of things.
Yeah.
I even told him, you need to cut that list. Just stick with like 4. These are so many.
Right.
But we listed issues. But Kenyans don't want to engage with these issues, yet it's the life that they live. Like we've become so poor, we've become so stolen from, that even our imagination has been stolen. That we dare not hope, we dare not dream. Yeah, and that is why we will vote for this den of thieves over and over again. Because dare I hope that my life can change? What if it doesn't change? But my question to us is, what if it does?
Yeah.
Are you willing to take that chance with a leader that says they will change things, and then they let you, I'd rather they let you down, because they can do 2 things. They could let you down, or they could make it happen.
Or they could
But the other ones
succeed,
who've been there, the other ones who've been there have proven time and again that they're not there to serve you in any way.
Yes.
Yeah, that you have to know someone and they'll give you breadcrumbs if you do something. Like anything they do for you is a favor. Yet it is a public office. It's supposed to serve you. It's supposed to deliver specific services to you. But we don't even know that. And we've been hoodwinked. So we've been stolen from, and we are abused. We are traumatized, and we dare not hope. Me, that's what scares me. That we have lost our imagination. We're not dreaming. We dare not dream. Yeah.
And, I think that's a sentiment that I think a lot of us around the world are feeling. We are in Kenya here, 65 years removed from independence. In the US, 65 years removed from the civil rights legislation that was so critical. In Ethiopia, we're, 20 some years removed from dictatorship and communism. And we start to forget. We start to be satisfied with the status quo. Yeah. And in all of these places, you can see there is a resistance. There is a group of people saying, we want more, we want different. Yeah. But the cost we're being asked to pay is, I think, where we pause, where we just say, am I willing to pay the cost for this? Am I willing to, for the diaspora, am I willing to come back home and invest? Am I willing to take a step to come back and commit to my country? And so hearing you talk, Jerry, hearing your passion, are we going to see you vying also in 2022? Is there any chance that you'll be somebody we can look to?
Me? Be like on the ballot?
Yes, no. You.
No. You see, the thing is, my husband is running for office.
It's official.
Yes, it is. He said he's running for office. Unless he takes that back, I don't know. But I have had him say in several forums that he is running for office. And same seat, MP for Starehe.
Okay.
So for that reason, I find it very hard, because of the way politics is done in this country, for us to go into a campaign trail in different places.
Sure.
Because my children are my heart is all over the place. Yeah. And I cannot imagine what that would do to my family.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather we support this and make the difference there, and make it so good that people all over the country are saying, we want a leader like Boniface. Yeah. You see what he's done with Starehe. Can you do what Boni is doing in Starehe? Then get out. Yeah. And if they vote for somebody and that somebody in 1 year is not doing the right thing, they're like, you can't tell us you can't do. We've seen Boni has done it. Boni is a human being like you. Why are you not doing it?
Yeah.
So I'd rather we do that there than, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But as it is, definitely not.
You're young.
Yes, I am also young.
Anything is possible. You remember?
Bekele-Piper, I am turning 40 tomorrow. As young as I,
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Are you celebrating? You got time.
I got time. I said the things I wanted to do for my 40th birthday, even if I don't do them now, even if it's 3 years, I will celebrate my 40th birthday in 3 years or 2 years or whatever.
Absolutely. How are you going to spend tomorrow though? What are you going to do? Do you have plans?
I've been told not to make any plans. So all the plans I have made have been
okay.
No. We'll tell you what to do. We'll tell you where to be. I'm like, okay, yes,
fantastic.
Ma'am.
You deserve that.
Children.
You deserve that. You deserve a day for somebody just to take care of you. Oh, that's awesome. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So much more I want to ask you. I think that we've come actually to a good place to stop, even though I could ask you more. So I want to ask you, will you come back on Uproot? Can we have another conversation in a few weeks?
Definitely.
Okay. Because I
Yes,
have so much more I
I'm
want to
happy
ask you and so much more I want to talk about, but I think just ending on this note of so much is possible. Don't let anyone steal your imagination. Don't let them steal your hope. It's a really powerful reminder why human rights matter. I mean, human rights matter because it is personal. It's our families, it's our communities, it's us as women, as young people, as Pan-Africans. So maybe the last question I can just ask you is, I want to get back to what we talked about at the very beginning. It's the holiday season. It's people are thinking about how to give. How can we get involved? Where can we give our money? Where can we give our time? Give us some pointers about how we can give human rights this holiday season to others.
There's some initiatives out there. So there's some people that are looking out, that look for these things. You're fishing for them. Find them and give money towards those causes. If you're in a place where you don't know what those kind of things are, then create something. And like I said when I started, you don't have to be in the front line. Look around you. Is it the watchman in your hood? Is it a children's home near where you live? What can you do for them? Because this year has been a tough year, a really tough year for everybody. But some of us it has not been as bad as for others, right? And it's just, don't consider yourself how bad it's been for you. Just take this time to give to those around you. The Human Rights Defenders Coalition gives to activists, and they're trying to build a home, and they're trying to build a home where they can, give to, we as Kenyans can give back to the activists. It's not by paying their rent, it's not by doing all those things. It would be nice if they could, but that's not what they're doing. They want to create a place where they can take care of activists emotionally, psychologically, and provide a safe place, but also just advise and train how we can be active citizens of this country. So anything that would go to the Defenders Coalition, they're doing hikes, they have a climb to Kilimanjaro. So you can give to that. But most of all, look around. Just look around. Don't go far. Just look around you and do something for somebody. It's not how many people you do it for. It's the few that you do it to that makes a difference. So spread the cheer by just doing something unique, something different that you haven't done, and let it be the start, not the only time. Like, let this Christmas, this holiday season extend into the coming year.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. And the human rights defenders, I really came to know them a bit more during Saba Saba this year. They were visiting all the precincts, making sure people were bailed out of jail, making sure people had representation. And I know that you and Boniface you hiked Mount Kenya. I think that's when
with the children.
With the children. Amazing.
That's
a year ago, isn't it?
Conversation for next time. Yes, a year ago.
I think I gave you some hiking poles next time.
You did actually. You gave me stuff to go with.
I need those poles, man. What if I need to go hike Mount Kenya?
We're going climbing. We're going.
Okay.
We're going
like
to
you said, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to talk. We need to talk offline.
Yeah, we do.
Jerry, where can people find you on social media? Where can they find you? Where can they find the work of Power 254? Give us some handles to follow.
Our website for Power is PAWA254.org. And my personal, and you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on the same handle, and on Instagram. For myself, it's Jerry Khan, Jerry, K-A-N, on Twitter and on Instagram, and on Facebook, it's Jerry K. Mwangi.
That's so clever, Jerry Khan. That's so clever.
Okay, so my dad is called Kangede.
Oh, okay, so it is actually part of your name.
Yes, it works so well together.
It does work very well.
Yeah, and you can also follow us as Throttle Queens. We're about road safety, this being the festive season as well. Let's be responsible how we show up on our roads, as a cyclist, as a pedestrian, as a driver, as a biker. However, whatever you are on the road, be responsible in how you show up and stay safe and stay alive.
Fantastic. Will you take me for a ride sometime?
Oh, yes, I will. Now I can carry people.
I've never ridden a motorcycle, but I would love to try.
I'll come and take you somewhere.
Thank you, Jerry.
Just a short thing.
Kidogo, just a little,
for a
taste.
For a step. Yeah.
Jerry, thank you so much for being on Uproot. More than just this time here today, thank you for how you live, for your witness, for your light. You're a light in our community, in our region, in our country, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Lily, for having me. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
There'll be a part 2 coming, so we'll do that soon.
Yeah, let's do that. All
Thank
right.
you, Jerry.
All right,
All
bye.
right, bye. So let me just give it a few seconds on this. So the sound engineers like to have some background sound here.
Okay.
But that was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm just
Thank you.
so, I don't think I've ever.
I never know, because some of these things, and I said I'm not going to prepare myself or not try not to cry, because these things are real, and they are, and they do bother me, and they have bothered me. And
absolutely,
if and when I cry, for me, it also tells me that that's something that is unresolved.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look like I got it all together. Everything is fine now. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
That I don't know if or when they will be resolved or how.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we've lived over, and I show up and I'm like, yay.
Yeah, right.
This is fine now. This is behind us.
But it's so clear in watching the film. And actually, I didn't ask you that. Maybe we can just do that. And I didn't ask how people can see the film. Can I ask that quickly? Do you have are there ways do you have any resources people can go to, or not yet?
Right now, no. That I know of, because it was in the films, it was in the cinemas, and it did 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And now it's not in the cinemas. So I think they're trying to work on something digital that we had hoped that it could be on Netflix, even if it was for a week.
Yeah.
But then if not on Netflix, that there can be a link that you can get a link and buy, then you can watch it, for a certain period. So it's something that they're working on. We'll see how that goes.
So nothing clear that we should go back and add to the podcast.
Not that I know.
You can find Softy here or anything like that. Okay. I'll do
for your viewers in the US and in the UK, there is.
Okay, so let me ask you that. Let me just say that real quick, because then what we can do is
find it. Wait.
Okay, I think it's PBS POV, isn't it?
PBS POV, yes.
So I'll put the links in the show notes, but what we can do is I can just ask you quickly, how can we find the film? How can we watch it? And we can point them to the Softy handle on Twitter and on Facebook, and they can follow that and do that. Yeah. Yes. So let me ask you that, and we'll edit it back into the conversation. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So Jerry, Softy the film is such an extraordinary documentary. It's gotten so much great attention and feedback and response. How can people watch it if they haven't yet? Tell us where we can find the film.
So it just finished the cinema runs in Kenya, but follow us on Softy the film on all our social media handles, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and you will know how you can watch it. But if you're in the UK or in the US, you can watch it on PBS POV, and in the UK, I think it's, gosh, let me not lie about that.
No, but that's okay. I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put it in the show notes. Yeah. So listeners, as you're listening to this, check out the details below. You can find that. I'll make sure to link it up there so people can find it. It is absolutely worth your time, and it's just an amazing accomplishment. So congratulations to you and the kids. Were the kids, how did they feel about the film? Have they watched the full thing?
Yeah, they watched it the first time they watched it. They really cried. They really cried, because I think for all of us, we saw each other in ways we had not seen. We were revealed to each other in ways that we had tried to cover. They saw me struggle. They saw me cry. They saw their father struggling as well. We saw them struggling in ways we had not seen, because Soko was able to come into each of our lives. And he's a personal friend to all of us, like separately, and then to all of us as a family. So he had the privilege of walking into those personal private spaces, and he asked us questions about what we were dealing with and what we were struggling with. So it was very difficult for them to watch it, but also it told them a lot about who we are and what we do and why we do what we do. And it has really helped the way we have our conversations, and they understand better what we do. And they're also very bold. Yeah, I told them you can never stand in the face of injustice. You never stand and say nothing. So even when we're in the car, like recently, I was stopped by a policeman, and he told me to get out. Then my daughter said, "No, don't get out. Tell her we want to know what the problem is."
She's a human rights defender already.
Oh gosh, yes. And of course, the policeman just said, it's okay. Just wanted to know, had to see the taillight, but it's fine.
It sounds like she handled that And
Yeah, she got it. And I was like, you just saved me, because when the policeman calls you out of your car, he wants to bribe you, and he can't do that when you're there. So if
yes,
you're in a car and the policeman asks the driver to get out, you tell them you all want to know what the problem is, to just say it, because you're all in this car.
that's amazing. I'm looking forward to following her on Twitter one day and
Yeah, I
seeing
know, right? Yeah,
seeing how
she's
that
quite firing.
she'll continue
Yeah,
the work. Yeah,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. I think that definitely gives it to us. That's so great. There's so much. You saw these questions, huh?
I'm actually looking at them. They're right in front of me.
I mean, I just had so much I could have.
There's
There's
so
just
many. I know. I
so
know.
many, especially. I mean,
Ah,
anyway, there's just. But it's amazing because I think the conversation just went where it needed to go, and
yeah, it flowed. It flowed. I
yeah,
think
it
it went
really
well.
did. Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna release this on Tuesday.
All right.
So we'll do some editing between now and then. I'll send to you the final kind of images and all that, so you can share it if you like. No obligation at all. And if you
We'll
have
share
it,
it.
oh, cool. And if you have an official of Softy, I can also ask Sam. So I don't want to copy paste from the internet, but if you have something of Softy, I can include that in some of the promos. Just the image that you have on the film, the poster,
Yeah,
whatever.
he can send you something. I
Okay.
think because we've done some that have become too tiring to people have gotten used to them. I think they were trying to do something new.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
also we've been nominated for the Oscars, so we're trying to do an Oscars push. Oh yeah.
Okay, see, Jerry, you're okay. And now I'm gonna have to put this into the show too. When did you find out? Tell me about that.
Oh gosh, I think we found out a month and a half.
Wow. So
I
because I
feel like
know
I've known this for a while.
each country can nominate like 1 or 2 films a year, something like that, right?
So there's criteria for winning.
Mm-hmm.
And so we first were nominated, we were listed, then you go getting the criteria, and then now you're in the final list.
Okay.
So for the final list, we're now officially in that list.
Wow.
And
Congratulations. That's
it's
amazing. So when do you find out?
completely
At the
blows me.
Oscars? Or you'll find
At the
out
Oscars.
at the
You'll find out
Oscars?
at the Oscars.
We'll be watching
I
and
know,
cheering.
like,
That's so awesome.
just holding our breath. Like how? So for me, it's very humbling. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is just me and my family. Like if you look at all the stories that have been told in films, they're mind-blowing. Yeah.
Oh.
And so for me, for this to even be considered for the Oscars, wow.
But
I
you've
can't
made us
explain.
so proud. You've made us so proud. And I don't know, did you feel any sense of validation? I mean, you have your critics, you have those people who push back, I think anybody in the public eye will always have that. But I don't know, does this bring has sharing this story with the broader public and, people who don't know you personally, who only know your name, have you felt, a different connection to people or some validation through this process?
It's completely done so, because when people say that they watched it and the real hero, it is why this film was made, because I wanted you to see yourself in it. I wanted you to see your husbands in it. I wanted you to see your children in it. So being a better wife, being a better husband, being a better mother, being a better friend, to your family, and that people are able to see themselves. For me, I was like, this is why I wanted this film to be done. This is why I was willing to tell my story, to share my life. Because by sharing my life, I have shared the lives of so many people.
Yeah.
And for me, to them is, we matter, we count, we are making a difference. We are there.
Yeah.
If you think that I am valid, that I am there, that I am doing an important work, so are you. Because me and you are the same, as wives, as mothers. Yeah.
I love, there's a part where Boniface is looking for sugar or cooking oil or something, and I think Nate comes and helps him find it.
Yeah.
And you're right, it just shows it's everybody. It's every father who goes in there trying to cook something is like, where's the, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
It was very humanizing. And
Jabal is saying, Siri, how do you make cereal? And he's so serious. I was like, oh my gosh.
I love it.
Yeah.
I say, oh no, you're right. And did you hear any responses that surprised you? Anything that from people watching it that you didn't expect?
I think I did not expect the kind of love and admiration that I got, that I have received since this film was released. I expected people would be able to talk about my husband and the kids, but I think because I'm so used to being behind there, I didn't expect people would see me as such. So it was very overwhelming when people just said, "Oh my God, Jerry, wow, you are the star of that film." And I'm like, me? I was like,
Jerry.
okay. I was very, very humbled. So that took me by surprise. And it's been like a cloud that has carried me. But I keep lifting all the women that tell me that. I'm like, come and sit here. We are together in this. You're here. It's you and all that you do that no one seems to notice. We are in this together.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad. You deserve that love and admiration. Let it fill your cup, because it sounds like you have another road ahead of you with the other campaign. I mean, 2022 is not that far away. It's around the corner. So campaigning will start, I'm sure, at some point in 2021, right? Or will it be the end of the year next year?
2021.
Mid-year. Okay.
By mid-2021, you see, because they're also pushing this BBI. This referendum. They're trying to get this referendum.
Yeah.
And there's all opposing parties, and I mean, it's just going to be crazy from here on till elections. Yeah.
I hope you have a very silent night this holiday, a very quiet Christmas, because you're going to need it for the next coming up. Is Khadija back on board too? Because I saw. Okay, is Khadija going to be joining the campaign? Do you know?
We need her back in the campaign. Well, they've had conversations with Bonnie, but he has not confirmed whether she is or not. She's also extremely busy doing some work. So hopefully she will. We need her. So long as she's in this country, we will go and get her. Let me just put it that way.
Well, that's the tweet I saw. That's why I think I didn't know that Bonnie was running, because he had tweeted something recently like, if she joins my campaign, then I'll vie. So I was like, oh, okay, he hasn't really officially decided. But she's another person in the film that, you know, I don't know that your campaign manager necessarily comes to the forefront, but you can see the passion there. Like it's a team. It's a team.
Yeah, she really lifted and carried this campaign. She really pushed it. She was the campaign manager. She was amazing.
Yeah.
And I met her in that last week, because that's when we came back, and
okay. You just met her in the last week.
I met her that last week.
Wow.
Just before elections.
Yeah. Fire is the right word. Yeah. Fire is the right word.
She was fire. She was refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, another woman, just, you know, we're always there. We're always there. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Jerry, I don't want to take any more of your time, but this has just been, I feel so inspired and lifted myself. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope tomorrow is wonderful and you feel so treasured and cherished. You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward.
Me too. And I'm going to reach out. We're going to do a bike ride. We're going to hang out. We're going to do Kili.
Yes.
I want to be in all of those things.
Cool.
Thanks, Jerry.
Right. Thanks. Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. I'll share everything once it's ready.
All right. Cool.
Thanks so much.
Bye. Say hi to your family.
I will. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Do the same.
I will. I will.